Good morning, everyone. Nikki here from the Sassy Subber. Today, I want to talk to you about how I lay out my projects for whether it's for my towels, for my baby blankets, just about anything that's going to be larger than my press when it comes to my soft substrates. So let's get right into this. These are the towels from Coney Island Transfer. They're the 30 by 60 towel. Here's how I lay mine out. First, I go into my canvas space and I make my canvas space the size of my towel, as you can see right here. And then I take the painstaking opportunity to sit here and make all these blocks. Well, why the blocks? The reason being is I have a 16 by 20 press and my printer is 13 by 19. While yes, I could print the full 19 image, it's going to give me some strange quarter panel over here. So I like to break it up so that it's completely even. The blocks that I am using are 10 by 15 and a quarter. Why 15 and a quarter? Most times, if you want your blanket or your towel, they are not a true 30 by 60 or a 30 by 40. They're fabric. They're going to be wonky. But for the sake of this tutorial, if they are a true 30 by 60, then I would be doing 12 images of a 10 by 15 and a quarter. One, because once I start laying this out, I want to be able to have some sort of a rhythm and make it a little bit easier. Now, yes, you see I have all individual blocks right here. Let's say I want to add images, whatever the case may be. They're going to be about 5 by 5, give or take. All right, you're going to fill in that block with it. I do not use any of, I do not use a colored background. What I use is the image itself is the color. I put it in a frame. I make some fun clip art with it, but I do not fill in the background. Why? Because when I am pressing, I have given myself more of an opportunity for error. When you have this coming across here and this coming down here, overlap from the page next to it or the page above it, you might end up with a gap in between. So let's take out some of those errors by just having the design be the focal point, not necessarily the towel itself. So you're going to go in and you're going to make those your images, whether it's not you're using a block and you're doing names. Okay, you just change the direction of the name. Everybody asks me how I do these all the time. It's really just change the direction. You just change it to this is a 90-degree angle. I change the font of this. But once you start laying all of these out, I still use a white colored background. So as I'm laying all of these blocks, I have less of an opportunity to have errors in my print, overlap, anything of that, double press marks. We don't want any of that. Now here's some pro tips that I'm going to give you when you're laying things out. I like to start with the top of my press. So I like to work from the left all the way down and then from the right all the way down. Why? Because I line my image up on the side of the blanket, the towel, whatever substrate I'm working on. I usually use the side of the towel as my guide. Because if it's going to be off, I want it to be off with the towel, not off in measurements. So it's easier to follow along down the side of the towel in this case. Now what I do is I take a pencil, hear me again, pencil, and I make an arrow on the back side of the paper, and I will label it number 1 with the arrow facing up, so that when I've got all my images facing down on my desk, I can see where it needs to go, and I will label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And then I'll come over and do the same for those as well. Everybody gets an arrow, everybody gets a number. This way, when it's lined up and I'm laying it out, I know where I am in my design process. Especially, and this is why this is most helpful with the numbers, if all of these are different. If you've got different images, if it's only a block thing, then it's not necessarily a big deal to put numbers. It definitely have the arrow on the back. But if you've got names and images mixed, you definitely want to know where you're at with direction, layout, all of that beautiful stuff. So go in, make sure that you lay your work out first. It doesn't matter the design program that you have. Go in and give your space a 30 by 60 space. Make sure you measure your towels. When you're measuring your towels, make sure it's a true 30 by 60. If it isn't, make your design accordingly. All right, you might have to make these squares 9.5 by 15 instead of 15 1/4. Or maybe you need to make them, 10 by 16 because it's slightly larger than 60. Maybe it's 60, 61, or 60.5, and you have to make, you want a little bit of a bleed so when it's laying over or hanging over. No, I don't tape these down. I do use a board for these. I lay them on my press, and I just press and go as I need to. And again, I will work my way down. Now, and I should say this, because this is a 15, okay, my press is 16 by 20. Yes, this will fit going in this direction. You don't have to turn it at all. It will fit on my press, the bigger press, Big Papa, at the 16 by 20, because this is only a 10 by 15. So I will be able to go the full length of the image instead of going this, horizontal left to right all the way down. I will be able to go right straight down and do it that way. It makes it a lot easier. Now, I try not to go the left to right and then left to right. Why? Because I'm trying to line it up. I'm going to line it up with these corners. Great. But this next row, what if it's slightly off? It's easier for me to come all the way down and then come all the way down. Just makes life easier. So you figure 12 pressings at about 60 seconds a piece. Not a big deal. It'll take you probably maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes tops. Well, it's 60 seconds, that's a minute. So it's going to take you 12 minutes roughly to do a towel. It's going to take you longer to line this all up than it is to actually press it. So don't think that this is something you can't tackle. Please, by all means, tackle these towels. They are very easy to do. You just have to do a little homework prior before you put it on the press. Make sure you lint roll your towel, lint roll, lint roll, lint roll. No, I do not use tape. No, I do not use Pro Spray or anything like that when I am pressing on my towels. I just lay it down, press it, and I go. So there you go. There's your tutorial on how to press a towel that's 30 by 60, but this also works for your blankets as well. No matter what the large substrate is, you can do the same thing, same idea, lay it all out, and you will be just fine. Don't stress out the small stuff. This just seems like it's a huge undertaking, when in reality, you just have to do your homework. I'll see you guys all next time on the Sassy Subber. For more tutorials and tips, follow my YouTube page, and I will see you next time on the flip side.